Hello again. This is Pat Marsh, your host for the PM Talk Show. We want to welcome you and also to wish you a very happy new year and hope that 2015 will be the year that will be prosperous for you in all of your endeavors and all of your dreams. We're out here on beautiful Miller Lake at FP 17, and we want to do a documentary today on some things that we anticipate, we meaning the plaintiffs and the NAACP, in our 50th year, which it is the 50th year as of May 2015 desegregation order. One of the first things I want to talk about is our coming into, or the school system coming into compliance with the orders of the court as far as what federal law and what federal courts are saying they must do. If you have read Order 876, there is a plethora of things that the school system must do to come into compliance. Where they have come into some areas is good, but there are so many other areas that they have not been able to come into compliance with. And we're hoping that this year, certainly by next year, if everything is done as the court says that it is to be done, that maybe at that point we can attain unitary status. We won't know until everything has been met. Plaintiffs have agreed, as well as Judge Ivan Lamel, the compliance officer, Attorney Don Massey, with his recommendations. When we look at coming into compliance, we think about what the 14th Amendment says, that everything is supposed to be, and I'm paraphrasing it, supposed to be equitable, that each child is entitled to a quality and an equitable education, which means that the facilities should be such that there will be no bars as far as hindering that child from learning. The physical plant should be such that there are no things that would cause a child to miss out on what a teacher, for instance, is trying to teach, because maybe the air conditioning, and I'm just using this as an example, or the heating is not what it's supposed to be because it's either too hot or too cold in the classroom. But these are some issues that were problems when we began in this lawsuit, when this case was reopened. But so far, a lot of that has been fixed, and we hope that it will be maintained a lot better than it was before we reopened the DeSeg case. One of the issues that we're dealing with now is bullying in our schools. And that is very, very prevalent. It's not just being done on black kids, it's being done on white kids. And we want to see programs in the school in that arena placed on board so that if a child is bullied, there would be a resource that they would be able to go to, not only to report it, but that the parent will see that something is being done for the child who is bullied or the child that's doing bullying, because it has an adverse effect on both children as well as their parent. There are programs available. There's counseling available for the child, and there are different sources in the area. We as an organization have found a counseling individual that is very, very good. She's a licensed professional counselor who's able to get inside of the child's mind, whether it's the child who was bullied or the child that's doing the bullying, to find out what are those underlying factors that's causing a child to do such things as bullying. And thus far, we're very thankful to report that most of the kids, or the vast majority of the kids that she has encountered from our recommendation as an organization, they're in school. Both sides have become honor roll students. They become model students in the school system. And at some point, we're going to bring the individual on and let you meet her to see who it is we're speaking about. And if for some reason you need someone like that right now, you can either email myself, Patricia_Morris11 @AOL.com, or you can phone me at 985-747-9488, and I can give you that contact information. But bullying is a problem, and it will continue to be a problem until it's properly addressed. And that is an area that we're working on. When we talk about the finances in the school, we're supporting a forensic compliance, a federal forensic compliance audit being done so that we can really see, and I realize that the school system does audits yearly through the Legislative Auditor's Office, and they brought in different auditors who were able to do some things, but what we'd like to do is just see this type of audit done, because the type of audit that I'm speaking of now will really tell where every dime has been spent. I don't believe in such words as other or those types of words, because other can mean anything, any dollar, but a forensic audit would follow the life of every check that the system has gotten. And if we know that, then we would really know what and where we're working. When we talk about the physical plants in the school system, as you know, Order 876 called for 3 new schools to be built on the south end of the parish. The problem is, if those schools had been built, who would have gone to them and remained in them, or would there have been enough money to operate the 3 schools? I don't know whether it would or whether it would not have, but what we proposed initially was fixing, repairing, or maintaining our current facilities. Those schools who have an abundance of portable buildings, where there's overcrowding, we would like to see some wings built or added on to the schools to make the kids more comfortable, helping them to maintain a conducive learning environment where there will be no struggles, there will be no crowding in areas of middle schools or in elementary schools, where there needs to be enough playground for the kids to get out at recess and release some of the built up, I don't want to say strains, but sitting in a classroom for so many hours, if nothing is going on, the kids really need a break, and they need a little playtime, is what I'm saying. If we can get rid of the portable buildings, because when you look at Tangipahoa Parish, for instance, we're in Tornado Alley, and we never know when one is going to come. We never know when flooding will take place. We never know when a windstorm will come, and if they're not properly secured, or sometimes if they are properly secured, the winds are so strong that it would tear down, and God forbid that children will be in those buildings if it happens. So what we want to do, or what we're doing through Plaintiffs' Counsel, is having that addressed through the courts now to make sure that it is taken care of, so there will be total safety for the kids as much as is practicable, and they can have what they so rightly deserve, a quality and an equitable education. When we look at teachers, we find that sometimes it's hard to hire or find fully certified teachers. Well, what are some of the reasons that might be? Maybe because some places pay more money to their teachers. Maybe because we meaning the school system, do not move quickly enough when we go on the job searches to find out if there are any teachers that are available to us. Many of our teachers in Tangipahoa Parish are now leaving the school system in large numbers. I attend a lot of the meetings, the committee meetings, and when we get to the personnel part of those meetings, we have a page of at least a minimum of 20 teachers that's either quitting, retiring, or leaving, with no one hardly to replace them with. One of the things that I'm very happy about is that now when that happens and a teacher is hired, the personnel department or the board members are now asking the personnel department, is the person certified, or if they are in a program to become certified. And I would like to encourage all teachers to get with your personnel director, Mr. Jinko, and find out what programs are available that you can work on your certification. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the state gives up to 5 years to get your certification, and that's a lot. And when you look at a requirement when you sign your contract, I'm told, of taking 6 hours a year until you're certified, well, that's only 2 classes per year, and you can either do that in the summertime. It's not really hard to do, just do it, because the kids depend upon you teaching them things that they will never know if you don't teach them. We want to encourage the parents of the kids, those who are taking a proactive approach in your child's education. Let me personally thank you for that, because that is very, very necessary. And those who are not doing it, just don't totally rely on the NAACP, the teachers, or the school system to do those things at home that you could do to help us with the kids. Now, I'm not saying that we're not interested in helping, nor are the teachers interested in helping. They are. Peer pressure is something else that a lot of kids have to fight and deal with. And sometimes one child can say, oh, I don't need to do that because my mom doesn't make me do it, my dad doesn't make me do it at home. Well, it would help a lot if you would do what needs to be done at home. Get with your teacher. Those are your children. You have a right to ask questions and get answers if you feel like something is happening to your child and it's affecting their education, because believe me, there will come a time when that education will be paramount in the life of a child. When we look at society, and I continue to say society continues to globalize itself, and if our kids aren't prepared to be in that competition, then they're going to be lost in the world with very little or nothing to fall on. So if you would be so kind as to help your children along. I did it with mine, my parents did it with me, and a lot of times it's not like it was when I was a child. If my teacher came to my mother's home, I knew what that teacher was coming for. And I knew after the conversation, if I had done something stupid, then I knew what I was going to get. Now, I'm not advocating that you do that, but at least talk to your children and let them know the importance of an education. Do some educational things. Take them to the parks. Help them with their homework. If you don't understand, I'm pretty sure there's something online with the school system that can help you do it. And even, well, I don't have a computer at home, there are free computer services at the library, and you can go into there to encourage them and to help them to do better. When we look at ACT scores and ACT testing, that testing is done to determine if a child is college ready. And if they're not college ready, I remember when I was an undergrad at Southeastern, this provision became available. If a child did not score at least a 21 or 22 on their ACT test, they had to go into a trade school or a community college for 2 years to take any subject area that they were weak in before they took the ACT test. That's 2 years. When you look at it realistically, that's 2 years that they could have spent in college, and it would be 2 years closer to them getting a degree and going into employment. When you look at white-collar jobs who want to locate to Tangipahoa Parish, because you have the interstate, you have the railroad, you have the waterways, you have the airport, everything that businesses like that would make getting new business here, it's already available. Our problem is our schools and what we need to do to bring those numbers up to make it look like we know what we're doing, and in many cases we are, but I think there's always room, I know there's always room for improvement. These people in other states, they look at this, they look at all of the opportunities we have here to bring white-collar businesses and other manufacturing businesses here, but we don't have the educated workforce. And that's a big mainstay with anybody that's in business, because many times when they look at what we don't have, when businesses look at what we don't have, the first thing they're going to tell you is that, why should I bring my corporate people here and they bring their children to schools that are failing? Well, this is what we're trying to get around. And the only way that we're going to get around it is that we all, from the home, from the churches, from the communities of people, and that is coming together and working together, realistically so that we can get the job done. Now, as an opponent, as a supporter of early childhood intervention, I know it works because that's the area that I was working with when I was in the school system. And I do know that early intervention does work. And kids today are a lot smarter than we baby boomers were, in a way. They can pick up on things a lot quicker. They can understand things a lot quicker. So why not divert those energies on the video games and all of that to getting them interested in looking up books and reading books and learning writing skills and learning how to speak foreign languages because of the diversity that's going on in society today. And once these things are, the students are confronted with these things, then they will have a better opportunity for becoming competitive and knowing those things that they need to do. But it's going to take all of us being truthful to ourselves, first of all. Well, being truthful to God, first of all, being truthful to ourselves, and then being truthful to our children, encouraging them and letting them know you are somebody. And you can be whatever you want to be because you live in a country where many opportunities are available. And if those opportunities are available, we want you as my daughter, as my son, as my grandchild, as my nephew, my niece, whoever, or my neighbor's child. We're going to become that village that it takes to raise one child. Don't feel like nobody wants to hear from you, because we do. We want to make sure that everything is available to you, is being given to you, just so that your child will have an equitable chance. We want to make sure that programs that are in a lot of schools, and I know some will say, well, your area didn't have any money, you didn't pass the taxes. Well, the judge took care of that last year, it was last year, where he issued an order that single bonding districts had to be abolished because they are unconstitutional. He also ordered that all of the monies would be placed in one pot and everything would be prioritized so that the neediest would get fixed first. And if it is fixed and it is maintained, you'd be surprised that the money that continues to come in will build up, and we can get more competitive programs. We can prepare our kids. We can cut out that extra 2 years that a child would have to go to college because they didn't have what they needed, or they didn't get what they needed in the school system because it wasn't given to them. For whatever reason, it wasn't given to them. So when you look at the whole picture of what's going on, when you look at the whole picture of what has not happened, when you look at the whole picture on how is this going to make Tangipahoa Parish look when all of this is turned around into a positive, then I believe you will see the dream that a lot of us have come to fruition, where every child can be or do anything that they want to be and do. Everything that's positive, they're able to do it, and they will feel proud of themselves. Whenever you see a child who you know has had problems, and the child is turning their lives around, compliment them and tell them how proud you are of them, and let them know that they too can make it, and they don't have to live a life of disdain and feel like nobody cares. A lot of the kids that we come in contact with, one of the first things they will say is that nobody cares. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares anyway. And once we get through to them that there are some people who really care about you, but I need you, or we need you to care about yourself first. One of the things that I tell parents who come to us, we'll help you this time, but we want you to watch what is being done in the event that it happens again. Then you will know what you need to do. Or if you have a neighbor who may be experiencing the same problems that you have, that you can tell them, well, this is what was done and it helped me. Maybe you should try this. Now, realizing that all circumstances are different, but I also realize that there's a multitude of strength in numbers, and when people come together and when they know that there are people who are out here who want to help your child, to help you as a family become all that you can be, you'd be surprised at the results. I think of a young man, several young men whose parents came to us, and I told them the same thing. We're going to help you this time, but you're going to have to do some things. When we first encountered their complaints, one of the first things we realized is counseling needed to go on, not only with the child, but with the parent as well. And the individual that I'm talking about, the child got to counseling, children got to counseling, and parents got to counseling, and it's almost like night and day. When you hear success stories and when you hear the principals say, what a remarkable difference I see in John Doe, I see in Jane Doe. What a remarkable difference when I see their grades come up. What a remarkable difference to those kids who had problems, but they got on board with what they needed to do. They're not college graduates, or they're in college now and they're doing fine. We have a lot of kids who have gone on to college, who have graduated, who are living productive lives. And at the end of the day, this is what it's about, making sure that they can take care of themselves, making sure that they become tax-paying citizens, making sure that whatever their family's needs are, should they become married, or if for some reason along the line they've had a child, that child would be taken care of. These are the things that we're looking at seeing done in 2015. We want to continue to bring more families together so that they can help in the development of their child's educational achievements, their advancements, whatever that child wants to be. We want to see more doctors, more lawyers. For those who won't go to college, we want to see different job skills learned while they're in school so that when they graduate, they can graduate with a job. I think of a young man from Independence High who was in the welding department, and there was a company out of Baton Rouge who followed the young man's education at Independence High. And when he took the skills test, he scored so high, everybody was excited, and we were all thinking, well, okay, this child is 17, he's going to leave making $17 or $18 an hour. But he was so advanced in the welding field that he started out at a job in Baton Rouge at $30 an hour, and I'm pretty sure he's way up there in hourly wages now because he was just that good. When you look at young women who have a passion for nursing care, taking care of the ill, taking care of the elderly, we would like to see a medical magnet school in place because they're begging for medical magnet students right now, people who can work in the field, who are good at it, and this could lead to them becoming doctors and nurses. These are the types of skills that we're looking for, that we want to see happen in beginning 2015. And not only see them happen, but see them advance to where they would like to be. The opportunities are very wide, ladies and gentlemen. They're very long. And all we need to do is to come together to help our children. So can I count on you to become a part of this program that we're seeing coming into fruition for 2015. And when we see it come into fruition, we want to instill in these same kids that one day you will be taking our places, helping other kids, and we want you to remember those things that were done to help you. And I want to say too, in my closing, to the young people, one of the things that you need to do is to respect your elders, to listen to our experiences, because as we used to say as kids, I've been there, done that. Where you are now is where we've been. We know where all of the pitfalls are, or most of them anyway. We want you to do those things that are positive, that will give you a positive and a productive life. And when you do that, you will feel good about yourself. You will feel good about your brothers and your sisters, and not necessarily your blood relatives, because we're all, in one way or the other, brothers or sisters. But when we look at that, when we look at what's in place, when we look at all of the work that's going into place to make sure you get what you need and make sure it's done equitably and fairly, then you will have a better chance of getting and becoming those things or those persons that you want to be throughout your lifetime. We want you to thank you for listening. We want you to join us and come together. Begin coming to your board meetings. If you can, if you're retired, just come out to the committee meetings that they will be having to see for yourself what the board members are doing that you elected them to do. And if you're not satisfied, you need to tell them. It is just that simple. I'm not satisfied. This is what I would like to see you do. And let's see what happens. And if it doesn't happen, 4 years is a short time, and we can do it all over again with somebody else. So thank you for listening. Hope you continue to join the PM Talk Show. Hope we're bringing to you valuable information that will help you throughout your life. Pray for our schools. Pray for our children. Let us pray for each other. We want to let you know that knowledge is powerful. It will always be powerful, and it does matter. Thank you. Have a great week, and God bless.